Welcome back to the Midday Lounge, Global R&B 96.3. You already know what time it is. Listen, I ain't gonna call it. I ain't gonna call it a comeback. I ain't gonna call it a special guest. But you know, we we got Krystal J in the building, man. Go ahead, give it up for Krystal J, man.
Yes. First of all, why am I not a special guest?
Cause you here, you been here before. So let me get this one. We got Krystal J back in the building. It's been a long time, Krystal J. We should never left you, man.
And to be fair, I'm always special, whether
Okay,
I've
I
been
give you
here or
that.
not.
I give you that. I like it. Listen, I got a show I want to talk about today, man. This is a little bit crazy. I don't watch what's that? What's the show?
Real Housewives
Real
of Atlanta.
Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't watch this show, but I'm tracking this situation with Eva. How you say her last name?
I think it's
Mar-
Marcellus. Ma-
Eva
I
Marcellus.
don't.
So
Eva.
we're gonna roll with it today. So right now, I know she's going through her divorce situation with Mr. Sterling. The reason why it was captivating to me and caught my attention, Krystal J, was basically what it is. She married a high dollar man, a high dollar husband. He adopted. He adopted her first child that she had with Kevin McCall. Rapper, singer, producer Kevin McCall. He adopted that child. Now they're going through a divorce. They already had two kids together, and so she wants child support for all three of them goddamn kids.
I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I had a lot to say when I knew we were going to be having this
Yeah,
conversation because
yeah.
if you've ever, and I know you said you haven't watched the show, but many out there have. If y'all know,
Hmm.
watching Real Housewives of Atlanta or RHOA, for the veterans in the game who done followed a couple of seasons, that she came with a whole story when it came to this, and I was kind of, I won't say I was super surprised, but you can never tell whenever they show clips on a reality show because it's part real
Facts.
life, part scripted, but it's put together in a way that tells a different narrative than what might actually be happening.
All facts.
So
All
yeah, we
facts.
gonna get into it though.
Yeah, we got to get into this, man. I thought this narrative was crazy. It was mind blowing to me. So since he is adopting Kevin McCall's biological child, not his but his stepchild, since he adopted the child, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think you know what, I'm gonna put it together because I don't want to seem like I'm just bashing women. Do you think that the significant other, man or woman, do you think they should adopt their significant other's spouse? I mean, spouse, child. Excuse me.
I think it's a risk, and I'm not
Okay.
saying it's that nobody should ever do that, but it definitely is a risk. I know even in my own family because we've got blended families within my like larger relatives. And those are
Hmm.
conversations when it comes to things like inheritance, financial responsibility is a big conversation. You can still be
Yeah.
financially supportive of a child
Yeah.
without legally adopting them. And I know there are some people who, if you have an absentee parent and that child, like sometimes it is a nice gesture because I've seen that make all
Hmm.
the difference in the lives of like friends of mine who I know have a step parent who legally adopted them because they were like, all
Okay.
right, we're in it. This parent is in it for me 100%. I don't have to worry about abandonment. I like they have signed up to really be there for me for better or for worse for the child. It's almost like a
Yeah.
marriage in a way. Like once you sign them papers,
Them
it's
papers.
it's legit. It's locked in.
It's locked in, man. It's locked in.
But I think
Ooh,
the marriage needs to be secure
man, that's
before
that's a
that,
big part,
because
and that's a big thing.
it is the marriage needs. If you're gonna do it, you need to make sure that relationship that brought the child is
Yeah.
secure.
I. Ooh. Let me caveat on some stuff real quick. So just to use them as an example, they was only married for what, 4 or 5 years? Just them two, Mr. Sterling, what's his name, Mike Sterling and Eva Marcellus. They
Yeah,
was only married about 5 years. Now I know, and so I'm gonna say it like this. In theory, it's a good idea, like you said. In theory, should your marriage be 100%? You should go into a marriage saying, "Hey, 100% in. You know everything's going to work out the way that you want it to work out, and that's what you're hoping for." But I gotta ask the question: what is the benefit of adopting said child? So I went online and I went to a couple of different law firms, And
Ooh, you took it
I
to the
know I'm a
law.
little weird, so
Woo.
this I took it to the law, man. I went to this article was written by Jennifer Gladden. I don't know how to say it. I don't want to mess it up, but so some of the things that she pointed out was a benefit is the stepchild. Excuse me, make sure I say the stepchild that's being adopted receives inheritance like a biological child. So that's one. Okay, so the next thing is making your stepchild legally yours is a huge deal. There's something incredibly special about no longer putting the word step on before it says child. I got it. I guess it's a significant feeling inside of it
Yeah.
for said child. Okay, I got that. Next, they talked about they said it what is it? I missed that part. Where did it go? Oh my gosh.
I know there's
Hold
something
on, let me
about
bring up
the
my
the same last name as well, like
yeah, you said
that
and
unity.
we're gonna get into that. We definitely gonna get into that part too. But I got it right here. So adoption can secure the guardianship in the case in case one of the partners dies. So as a step parent, that you have all rights over that child. I got that. Okay, I see the benefits. Adoption tells the world that you are a permanent family member, just like you said. It doesn't underestimate the ritual of the ceremony. So I get it. All encompassing. Take that word step off. You are my child now. Got it. I see how it benefits the mother. I see, or that step parent. I see how it benefits the child. How does it benefit the person that's saying, "Hey, I'm going to adopt you"? And I know that might be a messed up question, but you ain't gonna answer it. So the only thing I see is everything is relinquished to the said step parent. You taking on everything. And me personally, as a man, I can't see myself taking another man's rights away to be a father, if that makes sense.
All right, that does make sense. That does. But do you think it's crazy for parents to want to protect themselves, or the step parent who's coming in to want to protect themselves before going to make that change, or even before going into the marriage?
Um, I can see why you want to protect yourself, and I know we're going on over time. I can see why you want to protect yourself. Everybody wants a sense of peace inside of the relationship. I understand the need. I understand the need for prenups. I understand the need for a living will or a will after somebody has passed away. I understand the reason why you might want to adopt a child if the marriage is intact. I can see why you want to protect yourself. I see all those factors, but like you said, there are some risk, and you got to be willing to say, "Hey, I'm down with all these risks."
Yeah, it's high risk, high reward. But like I said, that marriage needs to be secure though. If you're feeling some instability in the relationship, it's like people who have a baby to fix their marriage problems. Like doing this
Yeah.
thing isn't going to give you enough good feelings to wash over all your marital troubles, especially if finances or a crazy baby daddy or baby mama that there's already tension with
Yeah.
is already still a part of the conversation. That may not be the time. You can still financially support that child, but that may not be the time to become legally responsible.
Man, Crystal J, we gonna get back into this after the break, man. Drop one of K Rose's bomb for Crystal J. And once again, like I said, Crystal J is back in the building. It has been a long time. We shouldn't have left you. We'll be back after this break. Global R&B 96.3. Welcome back to the Midday Lounge. This is Global R&B 96.3, the real deal in digital radio, your number one source for R&B music. Listen, before that break, my screaming, let me do this. I got my girl in the building, Crystal J. Talk to him, baby.
I was about to say you just done forgot all about me. See, you're
I
so
never
used
forget
to me
about you.
being here,
Never
and I
forget
ain't been on the
about you.
mic in a minute.
Never forget about you, man. I just want to. I'm so excited about this topic because this one touched me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it is. So before that break, we was talking about Eva Marcellus and her soon-to-be ex-husband. So that she wants to divorce him, Mike Sterling. I would call him a high-value man. If you want to look him up, look him up. So basically, he the one that came. He was working with Kasim Reed up there in Atlanta, Georgia, as Atlanta City mayor. So they're going through the divorce process. I told you I want to play this clip. Basically, this is Eva talking. She was actually on another radio show, but whatever. She was talking about her adoption and the changing of her first child's name, the child that she has with Mike McCall, how she changed the name and how, Mike was with everything. We're going to talk about it right now. Check it out.
Last name to Michael Sterling's name. It's not just advice for parents, but it's an insight about my life and kind of what I'm going through, and hopefully someone can relate and learn something from it. So for me, I just went through a name change for my firstborn, Marley Ray. So Marley was born in 2014, and I gave her her biological father's name. And after 2 months, we became estranged, and I raised her as a single mom. And then the good Lord saw fit for me to meet an amazing man, Michael Sterling, who has become my husband and the father of my later children. And so, long story short, we all have the name Sterling, and Marley is the only one with her biological father's name. And I saw it necessary, and Mike saw it necessary to change her name. And so we've been going through the process, which I must say is not an easy process. It is not for the faint of heart. But we've been working through it. And yesterday, I can say that thank you for the Honorable Judge Manning here in Fulton County Court granted me a name change for Marley. She is now officially and legally Marley Ray Sterling. And so she asked for all vital records to be changed, her birth certificate, her social security card, health board, everything. And for my family, it's amazing because you know what? I never really wanted my daughter to feel like odd man out. And I didn't think about it when having her, But now that I am married and I do have more children, it's, she started our family. And since, she is the head as far as the kids are concerned, I felt it necessary that she take the same name that we have. And so, that's where I'm at with it.
All right. I just wanted to play that little clip real quick. We're gonna have this adult conversation.
Here's what I also had to think about. Like,
okay,
the daughter is her firstborn. I get that.
Yes.
Isn't she potentially also her father's firstborn? Like her biological father's?
You make a great point. Could it be? I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to lie to you, but it could be.
Right. I mean, I don't know. So I'm asking if y'all let me know because I don't know his whole backstory. But it's such a convoluted situation because you've made all of these changes, and here's the reality of your life now. If you about to get divorced, you now have this whole crew of people, yourself included, and now this girl who is not biologically a Sterling, who now has his last name, and you about to get divorced. But so what does that mean? Like, is she gonna feel conflicted about how her identity lines up with who her biological parent is versus the one who took care of her financially for only a couple of years before her mama decided to sign them papers again?
I just want to point out the fact that the mother dropped not one father figure, but two father figures now, all in the course of, I don't know how old the child is, but how many years, but it's been dropped. She dropped the ball. I'm just gonna say that point. I'm gonna leave it alone.
And all right, I think the name change thing, it becomes a little bit complicated, which I can understand that in a situation where if the biological father was nowhere to be found and you have secured a family situation, and this is kind of like the cherry on top of the last thing, but I don't even think it's the most important thing because you have people who carry people's names all the time who have no relationship with them. And yes, I understand the importance in a name. There's everything from a biblical importance to a legal importance to a name. But you've now made all of these changes, but you haven't. You got to secure your relationship before you start signing paperwork for stuff. Like, you get caught up in the emotionalism of the moment. Yes. But if you haven't laid down a foundation, or you haven't committed to, like, no matter what goes down, I've now brought my kids into this with a spiritual and a legal tie. You got to think heavy about it before you do it, and think heavy about it before you get out.
You're right. I like it. You ain't right.
Just my thoughts.
I'm with you when you're right.
I also don't really know what really happened in the background, and you tell me, because I ain't got no little people in my life, so you do. Tell me your thoughts.
Oh, so what you mean, like? So like, so let's get into this question. I'm gonna answer it first. Then, so should the mother change the doggone child's name?
Yeah, should mothers change their kids' names to legally
new
to the new
spouse's name.
parent, to the new spouse's name?
I'm gonna drop my knowledge on y'all. Y'all can come with, hey, cancel me. I don't give a damn. You can cancel me and I'm with it. So let's get
It's
into
good
it.
to know Jackie ain't changed.
I ain't changed the god doggone bit. So this can, of course, this can go to fathers and mothers. But right now, the subject is based off of Eva, so I'm gonna base this particular subject off of Eva. If the father is still, if the biological father is still alive and it's not a danger to said child, then it's absolutely wrong to change that child's name. I'm gonna say it again. If the father is still alive and he is not a danger, I want y'all to understand that part. He is not a danger to the said child's, then she's absolutely wrong to change anything. That's her father. Eric or Mike Sterling is not the biological father. And personally, I look at that particular husband as wrong. Mike Reed was a simp. Mike Sterling was a simp. I'm gonna tell you why. Because he listened to what his woman said. He don't know the situation. He had nothing to do with it. He wasn't there when everything went down. He listened to his woman said, and instead of saying like, "Hey, let me help try to mediate this," and hey, I understand how it is when two people can't get along, but help Kevin McCall be a father to his child versus taking the child 100% away. The child was still a little baby. It's still young. We don't know what the situation was, but you moved ahead so fast and just you went with it and said, "I'm gonna take the baby's name." So I hold him accountable as being wrong. I don't feel sorry for him. All right, especially inside of this case. With Eva, where is her accountability? It's not all about the child. For me, it seems like she's covering up her shame. She said, "Hey, I want to rush. I want to change my child's name. It's not my child's fault that she has a different last name." No, man, what you should have did is you probably should have just waited to open your legs up, got married, had a secure relationship, and then had said baby. But what you did is you had a baby with somebody that you was only dating for less than a month. You got knocked up, and now you got a child. So there's no accountability on your part. So you say, "Hey, let me head to the courthouse and try to hurry up and change the name." So I got an issue with that. That just seems weird to me, and I will hush. I will hush to that.
You told her to clink clink, lock it down.
Hey, do something.
Be out here,
she got to be held accountable.
Cross your legs at the knees and the
Oh,
ankles.
100%, 100%. So I guess that'll be my last question, and I'll let you answer, and we'll take some phone calls, hopefully, 804-476-2306. What is the accountability in the situation? Does this situation, when she tried to do it, does it make the family better? Who is suffering, in your opinion?
I mean, I feel like the person who's going to have the most questions is her daughter, because now she's gone through all these changes. There's a paper trail of like, your last name was this, then your last name was this. Are you going to change it back to her biological father's last name? Are you going to have her take your maiden name? Because I feel like now there's
100%.
a back and forth, and this kid going to have an identity crisis. But Sterling, in situations like this, I don't know what the context is of their relationship. I don't know why it fell apart. I will say it's something about being a reality TV wife where they started as wives and became not wives. I'll leave that alone. But this man is now legally on the hook for a child that he may never have access to again in any way, shape, or form.
Again.
He got screwed. I'm not even gonna lie.
And the child's gonna be suffering. And I know we are way over on time, but that's cool. We had a great conversation. My issue is, at the end of the day, the child is going to be suffering. Only person that's getting let off the hook is Eva, whatever her name is. She's getting let off the hook. But if we're talking in general, that mother is getting let off the hook as far as being accountable. She said, "I don't want my child to feel like this." Then why did you put her in a position to feel like this? This is on you, baby girl. So you're going to have to sit in that, man. I'm gonna leave it at that. Global R&B 96.3. We are way over on time, but I like the conversation. We'll be back right after this break. If you got anything that you want to add on, make sure you hit us up on social media at IG or follow us on Global R&B on YouTube 96.3. We'll be back in a second.